What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. It's been a busy weekend and week, so we're gonna get right into it. I'm here with Tyrone Hollister and Menelik. As you know, my name is Mike. We're about to get started. We had a virtual draft for the first time ever because of the whole pandemic. So, the top three guys, we'll go into those guys soon. We have a lot of funny things to talk about the number third pick, but we'll get into that. But overall, this episode is going to be mainly about this free agency. This free agency was crazy. Like people changing teams left and right. All this stuff happening. It's just like a funny time. I am very excited for the basketball season to start next month. So let's get right into it. All right, who wanna go over the top 10 picks? Who wanna do that?
Um,
All right, Tom.
we're
Since you
not gonna
said
do
so, you go ahead.
we don't need to do top 10. I'm stopping at 4 because I'm a diehard Bulls fan. But all three of the top three picks, Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball is pretty much how I figured it'd be.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards was considered the consensus number one pick during the college basketball season. I'm a big college basketball guy, so I kind of know. So Anthony Edwards was the clear cut number one pick, unless the Warriors got the number one pick. Number two, I figured that the Warriors are going to pick a big because they need a big. They haven't had a big in a few years. They've been running Zaza Pachulia out there, JaVale McGee. They dusted off Andrew Bogut one a couple like last year. So Wiseman, who I think if it was my team picking the Bulls, I would have wanted him no matter where he was at. So although Anthony Edwards was the best, talent in the draft, kinda. To Wiseman is the guy that should have been the number one pick, but Warriors got him at 2 as expected. Number 3, you had to pick LaMelo because of the hype, and being that it's a weak draft, there was nobody else that you could really pick third other than him. And I think the Hornets are looking for a little excitement and some recognition because they haven't had that in a long time, and especially they had Kemba, but Kemba is not that. He's not that casual name that you hear about. The Ball family, they have all these reality shows and then the brothers there.
And plus, I want to see Michael Jordan play the ball.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and then Mike probably was like, that's why LeVar sat there mad quiet when they picked him. He probably was like, oh shoot, I might have to play Mike.
And it's funny, he's telling y'all want to see 250. He just said recently, like, y'all want to see 250-year-olds play. We could do it like a pay-per-view event. Y'all can see what that is. And people was like, yo, because he trying to make money. He know you're gonna get washed.
It's not worth any. It's not worth no money.
Especially for Mike.
Watching Jordan beat him 10-2 is not funny. And Mike will probably give him 2 points.
Yeah, but even LaMelo said a little something when they asked him. We know how that go. He didn't say it directly because it's his pops, but he was like,
it's not that.
We know how that's going to
go. Number 3, of course, LaMelo. Number 4, my team, the Chicago Bulls. They had a lot of projections about taking the Israel kid. I'm not too big on Europeans like that. Yes, Luka is what he is right now, but sometimes they don't always pan out. So we went in a different direction and picked up a kid, Patrick Williams, out of Florida State. Everybody's criticizing it because he didn't even average 10 points a game. I'm looking at it as, listen, it's a weak draft. What else could you have possibly got? Maybe Obi Toppin. I don't know. Florida State plays in the same conference as the Tar Heels, so I'm a big Tar Heel fan, so I kind of know a lot of the Florida State guys. I saw glimpses of him. He not an impactful player like that. He plays good defense, but for a 4th pick, I understand why everybody's critical of it. But it was a very weak draft, and the Bulls are just looking for some players. We're trying to rebuild and retool. We got new GM, new coaching staff, so I'm going to give the kid a chance. That's my personal opinion on it. I'm not gonna hate on him because he only averaged 9 a game, and as a Bull fan, we probably wanted something better, but there wasn't much to get. And that's why I wanted to start first. I just wanted to address the 4th pick. I know a lot of Chicago Bulls fans are real mad about it, but I'm like, listen, you got to give the kid a chance. So
yeah, you sound like
that's how I felt about the draft. It went in his exact order. It went in the exact order. No, don't tell me. Son. Lucas like the Knicks. I don't sound like Lucas, but don't. Yeah, please don't know. I'm just giving them a chance. What choice do I have? It's a weak draft. It's not like it was, the draft of last year or the year before. It was really a 3-player draft. It's a 3-player draft, to be honest.
It's unfortunate.
Not much you could have done.
A lot of the guys could probably would have showed out in the tournament if the tournament was allowed to be held that
hurt too.
The pandemic hurt it a lot, so a lot of people just only going based on what they've seen from either prior years or leading up to the tournament, lead up to the COVID. Like you said, the top 3 was a big thing. Anthony Edwards is everybody beasting on him, so they like him. They think that was dope. I hate when they be doing like these kind of like player. Current player, equivalent
comparison.
I hate that because they even sell a Melo Ball like a Penny Hardaway. Like, no way. But that's another story. But as far as the Wiseman, because I know you and I, we talked about it, and we talked about it in our group chat where you was talking about how the Bulls was looking to make a move to the Golden State Warriors for that. But I kind of had an idea. That's what I was saying. Like, if I was Golden State, I need a big. It don't make sense to me to trade for a big that's not really like, healthy like that. And for a guy who just pretty much, he's good on defense, but he's not really an offensive player. I'm not trying to say Wiseman is a super offensive player, but he's a little bit better overall to me than.
But they need Wendell to play defense, and they could have had the 4th pick also. But that was just a pipe dream. I kind of got excited about it, but I was like, nah, Golden State ain't gonna do it.
And then
sometimes when those rumors. Yeah. Sometimes with those rumors, they come out and chances are they don't even happen because it's been widely speculated and stuff.
And it's pandering too, so they gotta be careful. So my thing is that at the end of the day, I think that, like you said, I agree with you. I think the draft went kind of the way it's supposed to be. I didn't think LaMelo was like a number 1 draft pick anyway. I feel that he was good, but I didn't really see him against some of the upper top college players. He only played really against like other cats in other leagues. Like that's cool and all, but against some of these kind of like Anthony Edwards or Wiseman, he hasn't really played against a lot of these guys. So we'll see. I do think he has a good ceiling because he is a very talented player. He does have a good court vision. You know what I'm saying? He's exciting, and I know like we talked about. Even though there's a pandemic, you still need some type of excitement. And I honestly, the Hornets did some pretty good moves, and I know like Max Kellerman was saying some stuff talking about Michael Jordan, like the Michael Jordan of the bad owners and stuff like that. But the Hornets made some good moves. We'll get into that later. To me, that makes them very competitive in the East, especially to actually grab a playoff spot. It's not going to be a high playoff spots, but I think they'll be able to do some noise in the playoffs. And I feel that with the pieces that they have on the roster and, what they have picked up, I think they should do some good things. But like you said, Tyron, I do agree with you. I don't think we need to go too heavy into the draft, but I do want to give an honorable mention for the Knicks, Obi Toppin. He looked like he could be a solid player. I know they was mad because they got another forward as opposed to getting like a point guard, but I think the Knicks need more like a veteran point guard. They need somebody. Unfortunately, a lot of them are already gone, but
I was hoping they got Van Fleet or something. Like that. I knew it was a pipe.
No, that was not happening.
I'm glad you said that, but it would have been nice.
I'm glad you said that because that was Toronto wasn't letting him go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was not a bad look. But like yeah. But I'm happy for the kid. He's a hometown kid. Yeah, I'm glad for him. Yeah, I'm glad he got to be able to play. Even though sometimes I feel if I was in the league and let's say I made it to the NBA, I'd be close to y'all and my family and stuff like that. But I want to play for a different team besides
not playing for the Knicks. I'm pulling a Steve Francis.
Not because they're garbage. It's just that I don't want to be, sometimes you want to travel, you want to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. It's always
New
good
York,
it's not even that.
Tyron, I know he would never do it.
I'm not putting that uniform on.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm going.
Tyron, you got drafted.
I'm going to draft night, right? He going to demand
they was like, what Tyron doing? Like, why you put the hat on? Like, I cannot put this hat on.
They'll call him for the interview. He's like, I'm not showing up. He's like, I ain't showing up for the interview.
I'm going to Lithuania, bro.
Guys, I'm going to Lithuania, son. I'm not playing for the Knicks.
they were like, with the pick, they have some breaking news. Town has been asked to be traded to Lithuanian Tigers.
Yeah, somewhere.
Knicks. I was like, now, but honestly, you go where you go. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these players, they go because they get the opportunity to have a lifetime. That I understand why they be crying. And speaking of crying, it's funny. Cole Anthony, he's Tar Heel. He got to the 15th pick to Orlando Magic, which I think was a good place for him to be. I think he's gonna be well for them over there. And Mo Bamba was like, "Yo, man, once you finish crying, he's crying at the thing." I'll pick you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy for the kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for a lot of these players. Like that's a great dream. Like once that pick is made, like you're pretty much changing the lifestyle of your family and yourself for generations. You know what I'm saying? For the most part,
I can understand his emotions because when he came out of high school, he was possibly a top 3 pick with coming out of North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, he tore his
meniscus.
Oh, meniscus. Okay.
He tore his meniscus middle of the season, and my Tar Heels were never the same after that. We were like the bottom of the conference.
Did he get hurt again after he got the surgery?
No. He just the surgery cost him like 6 to 8 weeks. And the Tar Heels went in the drain after that, and then the pandemic hit. So he came back, but he was never the same. But he was projected as a lottery pick.
That's what I was saying. I think he had 2, man. I think he had the knee and something else.
Nah, he kept playing. Nah, it was a meniscus. He had the surgery on the meniscus. He might have had something early in the season, but it was nothing that kept him out. But he
had said after he came back kind of too early with the surgery, and he ended up getting himself hurt again.
Probably had to do a cleanup.
He probably played.
Yeah, probably.
He probably got hurt again, but he didn't miss games after that. So it probably was something he played through.
Okay. All right. But I mean, look, I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? I think Orlando's going to be a nice up-and-coming team, but they're not going to be crazy. But I do like some of the moves that was made. But let's get into free agency.
Well, all right, wait. But real quick, I just want to say.
Yeah, we didn't hear that.
Yeah. So, as far as the draft, the top 3, kind of pretty much what we expected. At 4, I was surprised. Not that I knew as much about Patrick Williams, but I was surprised that the Bulls did take him. I did hear both things, that one, they tried to trade up, and I also heard that they tried to trade back once they knew they couldn't get in the top, because they wanted Patrick Williams, but they didn't want to take him at 4, but no team was really willing to deal with them to cut a deal, so they end up just still taking their guy, because like was said, it's no sure things. It was not as strong of a draft, so they probably was like, this was the guy we was targeting anyway. Let's just take him.
Yeah.
And then as far as the Obi Toppin thing, I mean, I am happy that the Knicks got somebody that seems to have a chance of doing a little something. I know he is an older player, so I know that hurt his draft stock, but he was the college player of the year. And I know there's a lot of comparisons. I know we hate that kind of stuff, but with like Amari Stoudemire, some other guys. So, I mean, we'll see what he does. And, I mean, they did get rid of some of that logjam of forwards, with the moves they made that we'll get into a little bit when we get into the other section.
Yeah.
So, I think he'll have a chance. I hope they can find some kind of a point guard situation, but they also were able to pick up quickly from Kentucky, who's supposed to be a really good shooter. I saw some stuff from him. So, I mean, we'll see how they go. Or maybe Frank or, Dennis Smith will come into a little something. I don't know. So, we'll see with that. But, I just want to say I do like kind of what the Knicks have done. Even on the draft night, they were able to make a trade to move up. It wasn't nothing drastic, but they were able to, make moves and not overcommit or do too much in a certain way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that front office could be, heading in a better direction.
God.
And then, as far as with Brooklyn, I know they ain't really draft nobody, but they made a trade for Landry Shamet or whatever. Yeah. And I think using their drafting for that was a good look. And I guess we could get into that other stuff or whatever.
Drafted Reggie Perry.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think with Brooklyn, we'll get more into Brooklyn because they should be championship favorites next year. But
Jesus Christ,
they did a lot of good moves, and I think they really solidified their bench and add some veteran presence to the bench. But I'm just looking at some of the free agents. So I'm just gonna run through some, and then we're gonna stop and talk about some stuff. So we have Anthony Davis, obviously. Done restricted free agent. He's waiting to do his whole contract, so that's another thing. Brandon Ingram's also, he's a restricted free agent. That's that. But we're going to talk about Fred VanVleet. Malik mentioned him. He's hoping that he probably went to the Knicks, but he ended up staying with the Toronto Raptors. Signed a 4-year deal for $85 million. That's good for him. He got a nice little come up, especially for a guy who was undrafted. You know what I'm saying? Worked his way up there, champion. So I'm happy for him. And then let's get into like something that's excited that somebody actually moved. Let's talk about Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, he signed to the Hornets. That's what I was saying. The Hornets made a couple of good moves to me that I feel, you add some veteran there presence. You had Gordon Hayward, ain't no scrub. I mean, he wasn't the same after that ankle injury, but who knows what can happen. Him actually be able to he had some spurts, when he was at the Celtics, and now he could, actually get to play significant minutes and have a significant role on this team. I feel that he might help elevate the play of the other guys and also elevate his own play. So now he's with the Hornets. Now I think he agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it was a good move. I know he wanted to go to Charlotte when he was in Utah as a free agent, but he signed the offer sheet.
He signed the offer sheet.
Yeah, so I forgot about it. To go there. But I think he's gonna excel in Charlotte. He's gonna be able to, do his thing. Hopefully he's, more confident mentally with the injury, getting over the injury. And I can see him and LaMelo, developing some chemistry and potentially competing for the for that play-in tournament spot and potentially in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, so they still sticking with that. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's official. Yeah, 7 to 10 are gonna play in the play-in.
Okay, that's
tournament.
Cool. Tyrone, how you feel about that in the Melnick?
Well, okay, let's see. They got LaMelo. They still need more. They still need more to me. I think they got a logjam at guard because Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and LaMelo. So you got to ask yourself, where's LaMelo going to start? Is he going to start as a 2 guard, even though he's a point guard? You got to start Rozier because he's getting paid all that money, and Graham is pretty good off the bench. They have Bridges, and then Gordon Hayward. They need a big. Cody Zeller is okay, but they need a big, and I think they had a chance at the kid Christian Wood that was playing in Detroit last year, but there was rumors about him going there, but he didn't go there. So let's see what they do with a big. But I think they're a big and maybe another bench piece away from contending for like a top 5. I know that sounds surprising, but a top 5 spot in the East. But they're borderline lottery 6 to 8. And when I say competing for a top 5 spot, I mean if they got a impactful big. I don't want people to think that I'm just saying any kind of big.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
like a Dwight Howard type of big. Like what?
No, something better than that. But they're not out there.
It ain't available.
That big is not.
And they're probably gonna lose Biyombo.
Like
Biyombo, they expect Biyombo to be nice, but
played it. But I mean, a level. A big the level of Steven Adams would have definitely helped out Charlotte. Yeah, I'm not saying that's who they would have gotten, but I'm just saying that's the kind of big that they could have used. But I think they'll be fighting. They may fight for that 7 to 10, or they may not even make the
playoffs.
Make the playoff playing game anyway. But I think Gordon Hayward is a big plus and should definitely help them.
Yeah, I think so too. And if LaMelo is anything like we think he should be, or like everybody talking about, I think they should be on the right track. Mentally,
because his dad says he's better than Lonzo.
Yeah,
right?
He been sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gordon Hayward went and secured that bag, man. Like he was supposed to get $34 million, but now he got a longer term deal, like around $30 million per year.
Yeah,
and I know it was partially because of that. I think it was also the role, obviously, and fit that he had on the Celtics. But the Celtics were guaranteed contenders, so for him to leave to go to Charlotte, he wasn't necessarily concerned about a ring. Because I mean, as much as I do think Charlotte has a good thing bubbling up there, I feel like if he truly was trying to get that ring, he might have stayed with the Celtics.
Yeah,
but I mean, I like the move overall. I mean, they do have Devontae Graham was one of the most improved players last year. They got Scary Terry. Miles Bridges was putting in some work. And I think they had like another guy, a young guy, PJ Washington. Or something. Yeah, he was putting in some work too. So, and then you throw Gordon Hayward in there. LaMelo.
Who's their coach again?
Who's their coach? I think some newer kind of guy like Borrego or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his name. I don't remember his first name.
I don't know his history or whatever. I think that was
Yeah, he's a young one of them first time coaches.
Okay.
Jay Triano, something.
Thank you, Hollister.
Okay.
But sorry, Malik. Sorry to break your thought.
No, it's fine. No. But LaMelo, I know, you know, the father's saying he thinks he's going to be the best. He has shown a certain level of potential. Now, real quick, as far as Lonzo, I know he get a lot of hate and people say he's trash. I don't think he's trash.
No, he's not,
I don't think he lived up to the potential, obviously, but I think he just had a lot put on him out the gate.
Yeah, his dad was talking hella crap, son.
Yeah, his dad put that target on his back. But in recent years, you know, he's improved his shooting. He changed his jump shot.
Changed some sneakers.
Right, he changed his sneakers.
He changed those sneakers. He started playing better.
All right, man. He has made some progression, and I feel like being in LA with all the stuff that happened, the target put on his back. Then on top of that, once LeBron got there, I just felt like he started playing not with a certain level of confidence. Because if you look at, like, I know it's Summer League and I know it was certain other stuff, but he played with a different level of confidence initially. I know he was the youngest player to, I think, score a triple-double, do certain other things. Then after it got a little tough early on and all that media attention, all the thing, he ain't living up to this, that, I felt like he started to play with less confidence.
Yeah, I agree.
LaMelo, from what I've seen, he seems like a pretty confident player. Obviously, we'll see fully when he gets, you know, to start playing against NBA players. But, you know, he went and played with grown men down in that NBL, and he's a playmaker. He has a lot of potential, and it should be fun to watch.
I agree with all of that. I think, like you said, man, like I think like with Lonzo, he had a raw deal. You know, he's more of a playmaking type of guard. He wasn't necessarily like a scorer. And I feel that when you play with LeBron, unless you like a Rondo and you feel you on his level as far as like basketball IQ, he's going to be the main person holding in the ball. So when you have somebody, even Brandon Ingram was stifled a little bit when LeBron was there, because Brandon Ingram is the type of guy who can make his own shot, create his own, you know, sets, and you have to deal with what LeBron tells you to do and where you have to be, and you know it makes it very difficult. And I feel the same thing was happening with Lonzo, like, because even when LeBron wasn't playing and he was hurt for them weeks with that groin injury, like Lonzo was actually playing a little bit better. But then he was playing with them freaking Mickey Mouse shoes that were ripping up on him and getting his ankles torn up and hurting himself. And I'm telling you, a lot of people make fun of this, but playing with the proper equipment, that is your freaking livelihood. Like, you can't be going in there and skimping on these joints. This ain't like me making a t-shirt and selling it. These are like high level equipment. So I think, you know, moving forward, he should be getting, even when I seen him playing this year with the Pelicans, like, he looked pretty good. So I think that if the trajectory is the same, he should be fine. But moving on to
them big baller brands was fire. I don't care nobody.
I mean, they look all right.
They look
fire.
They look good, but they might not be.
They was fire.
Now, hear me out, because you know what's funny? Like, they ripped off the Kobe freaking design. Like, they stole Kobe, like the Mamba joints. I have a pair of those Kobe's. They look exactly the same, like those ZO2s, whatever. Right? Those Zoes O2s. Them joints look hot, but like, they might. Sometimes you might get something that look dope, and then when you put them on and you do like a certain move, the bottom of the sole's ripping off. Like, how freaking happens?
No, I understand that. I'm just saying they was fire.
People was never getting their shoes. They ordered it and they never got it.
So they paying $400.
Right. They was fire.
They still wait for the shoes that people waiting for them PS5.
Tristan Thompson signed with the Celtics, y'all.
A word?
Yeah.
I mean, I did Tristan Thompson.
Oh,
that's a good look.
Yeah, they was
pickup for them.
Look at that. We getting live updates, man.
Yeah, it's like we got Halaoski right here. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no old. You know what I'm saying? Like, but but speaking of the free agency, right? We got Boban. Now, Boban was like one of the first cats was talking about going after the trade with
Mike. Sorry to cut you off, right? But we didn't talk about. I know you started off with Gordon, but we should have really started off first with the Chris Paul trade. No. I mean, I'm saying, that.
We know what it is. I'm looking at these basic lists that I have, and he's later on down the line with something big. But we can talk about. Actually, since you mentioned this, goes to like a Boban. Everybody know what happened to him. And to Malik's point, I just wanted to reference this guy. I was listening to him because, you know, Boban was supposed to go to the Bucks, right? They had the whole thing kind of much in the bag. People's, you know, snitched on them. They got to investigate pandering and all that stuff like that, tampering. I mean, so they was like, you know what? All right, they're gonna renege on it. So now he's up in the air. I think he might go to a different team. and he's not going to go to the Bucks anymore. So a lot of people felt with the addition of Jrue Holiday, because they traded Jrue Holiday, the Pelicans did over there, and they also got him that will keep Giannis. And then I was listening to what Paul Pierce was saying the other day, and Paul Pierce made a valid point. He said, look, 99% of the players, man, when they see that kind of money, because Giannis is up to make probably $230 million for the next couple of years, right? They said, look, man, when you see that kind of bread, you're going to take it. Some people that forget a ring, you know what I'm saying? And then they was what if you can get something similar? Cause look at KD. KD got something similar from what the Golden State was going to offer him, even with the injury. But to that point, and I also and we said this too in the podcast, that KD's game is not predicated on athleticism and explosion. His game is just skill set, shot making ability, his height. You know what I mean? He has ball handling and all that. He could still get his buckets. Whereas Giannis, if he don't have that explosion or that kind of crazy athleticism that he have, his game is limited. So people say, yo, secure that bag. Look, I was telling my parents today, Michael Jordan, his whole career only made $90 million. And the bulk of that came at the end of his career.
Look at Magic.
Magic barely made any money. So these cats yo, I'm going to take that 230 and secure that bag. Like Malik said, we'll go to Hero. Go to Hero Price. Look, I can stay here, not really be super happy with my role here on the team. You got people Jaylen Brown,
Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Kemba.
They really living up to their potential and then some. And I'm here I am. I'm kind of third, fourth fiddle. I can go to the freaking Hornets, get paid, go to a city that I really wanted to be in the first place, put in some work, and be a main guy and feel like a main contributor. Yeah, I might not win, but like Malik said, I've secured that bag. I got money. Now,
got kids.
I got kids.
Yeah,
things happen.
He had a little bit of injuries recently too, so he secured his future even more too with that, making sure he getting a certain amount of money.
Decent amount of money. Yeah. Exactly. So now segue in. I wanted to Tyron just mention because that was a huge trade. Chris Paul. Now everybody said Chris Paul. He should get. He's up there in his age, 34, 35. He should really try to get a ring, you know what I'm saying? He paid his dues and et cetera. But he decided, look, I don't want to go ring chasing in a sense. I want to go to Phoenix. And I honestly feel that the addition of him, and his videos showing him and Devin Booker working out together, I think he's going to help those guys. What he was able to do with the OK City Thunder when they traded him with the scraps that was left after the Russell Westbrook trade and get them to the 5th or 6th seed, I believe, in the West before the bubble and be able to play. Yeah, they lost the first round, but they were able to bring it almost to a game. They not a game, not like a few minutes away from actually beating the Houston Rockets and going to play the Lakers, I think, on the next round. You know what I'm saying? That was something huge. And I think that a lot of people, he could be a jerk at times, but he is a good leader. And I feel that that's what they kind of needed, and especially with the momentum that they had moving forward from the bubble, being undefeated team, and Devin Booker getting even nicer, and you got the other dudes on the team. I feel that with addition to Chris Paul, they kind of solidified that team. They could actually make the playoffs and be a decent team in the West. So, Menelik, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was a good move for him because it puts him in a place where he's really good at leading, especially with a young team. Yeah. Which he showed last year with OKC. So I think this is a place where he could be a significant contributor. So he don't got Shaq, talking at the end of the trip if he wins about he ain't do nothing. But he could literally be a main focus of it while still helping develop another team. And for Devin Booker and those guys, they have this leadership now. He played with Monty Williams before, who's the coach over there. Yeah. And they have a good relationship. And Phoenix obviously showed, it was the bubble, the end of the bubble, this, that, and third, but they showed some life. Yeah, I know Oubre moved in some other pieces, but I think with the addition of Chris Paul, Phoenix definitely can make some noise in the West, and I'm looking forward to see what they do.
Yeah. Tyler?
Yeah, I think it was a good trade for the whole team because those young guys, they need a veteran leader. If Chris Paul is that guy who could bring the best out of everybody. They got Devin Booker over there. They got Ayton. They got the other Bridges guy. Yeah. They got Cam Johnson. They got Dario Saric. He could potentially, help them guys develop. Yeah. As far as, they could probably scratch the surface for a late playoff spot. I'm not sure about this year, maybe next year. Yeah. But they pretty much on their way. Them and the Pelicans, they on their way. I won't go as far as to say like Perkins was saying they talk about they could go to the finals.
He said the conference finals. Yeah, I seen that.
That was a good pickup for them. That was a good pickup for the Phoenix Suns. I like it. I like it for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Tyrone?
Yeah, it was a big improvement for Phoenix. I know Aubrey asked last week, do I think that it makes them a title contender? And I still don't think they're a title contender, but they're definitely going to make the playoffs if everybody stays healthy. They'll definitely do that. They'll definitely go fight for a top 5. They won't even have to worry about a play-in because Chris Paul made a OKC team a 5th seed, and there's better talent on Phoenix than on OKC. So,
and I think better coach.
I think Aubrey did. Yeah, that's true too. But I think Aubrey did. I think he said they will be contenders, but I don't think so yet. I think he'll help them and build their confidence up. Maybe the next year they can be contenders. But I think Devin is going to take a big step next year. It's a great deal because I also wanted to see who are they going to give up. We all know Rubio would have been one of them, and so they gave up Oubre, Rubio, a couple of picks. So they didn't really lose their key guys like Baines, like backups like Aaron Baines. They got Bridges, Ayton, so they were able to keep some of those core guys that they didn't want to give up. And I think that's a big upgrade, and they should use that momentum from the bubble and compete for like a top 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good look for them, like you said. I think that, like Malik said, they're well coached. Monty Williams is a beloved coach throughout the league. RP to his wife who passed a couple of years ago. They got a lot of good young pieces over there, like Hollister said. Ayton, Tom mentioned Baines. You got a lot of solid veteran guys, and they got a solid squad. I think they might be like a couple of moves away to actually be like a legitimate contender, but I do believe that they'll be like at the bottom part of that division as far as that conference, as far as making it to the playoffs. I feel there's going to be some other teams that's going to take a step back per se, but a lot of teams have showed during this bubble what they have and what they can do. And like I'm talking about the Zion thing, and we'll see how they play because the Pelicans did get better as well. We get into those guys soon, but yeah. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to read off some of the free agent stuff that happened, right? Some guys, we don't got to talk about every guy, but when y'all find somebody y'all want to talk about, y'all just any one of y'all to say, hey, let me just talk about this person, and we'll stop, okay?
All right.
So Christian Wood, he went from Detroit. He signed a 3-year deal with the Houston Rockets for $41 million. Joe Harris, the Nets wanted to keep him, so he's staying on the Nets. He signed a 4-year, $75 million deal. I know Hollis and I would just say this really quickly. I think that was a good look. They want to keep those perimeter shooters. He was a good knockdown shooter, and with the offense that we have with Kyrie and KD and the ball handlers, we really need the space to floor and do that. So that was a good look to keep him.
That was a priority for sure. Yeah. That was definitely a priority. We needed it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a good move and good look for them.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So we have Danilo Gallinari. He left the Thunder. He's now with the Hawks, 3 years, $61.5 million deal. I think that's a good look. Honestly, the Hawks actually set the Danilo Gallinari. We all know he was playing nice when he was on the Knicks. Gallinari. Then he was actually putting in some work when he wasn't hurt. I think he's a good player. Cause I actually had this conversation with Aubrey the other night when we was at the gym. He was like, "Yeah, I think the other team's trying to get him." And I was like, "I don't know," but he said, "No, he's still a good player." And I mean, with the other addition, you got Trae Young, you got him, you got Rondo now. We want to get into Rondo eventually. He left the Lakers. He's over there now. You got a lot of good vets and some solid people over
Collins, there. They got Capella. They got some people over there.
You probably can do something. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But unless you guys have anything else to say about that trade, I'm gonna keep moving. Free agent, because he wasn't a trade, free agent. All right, Goran Dragic, he stayed with the Heat, 2 year, $37.4 million.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler said.
I'm glad you take. I was about to threaten him. You said some physical violence will happen if you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's actually his best friend on the team. So it was all a joke.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad they kind of stepped it together. Because they actually could make some moves. Jeremy Grant. I understand you're a free agent. You got to get that bag, but I don't know if Detroit is the best move for him. He went from the Nuggets. He went 3 year, $60 million deal to the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, he got that money.
Yeah, so he wanted that bag. So I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
You get a bigger role, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what Detroit is really doing.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the list. Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. You got Davis returns. He stayed. He signed a 5-year, $80 million deal.
Detroit hasn't been doing anything for years
with the Wizards. So he's staying. Montrezl Harrell. We're gonna stay here for a second. Montrezl Harrell, Clippers. He signed a 2-year, $19 million deal to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now I'm gonna start off this one because I want to say this, and then we're gonna go to Tyrone, Manley, and Hollister. Let Hollister wrap this one up. I'm not a Laker fan, not a Clipper fan, but I feel that you go to a team that y'all supposed to be city rivals, okay, and you break your pact and you leave. Now there was rumors that Patrick Beverly, he every Twitter, it wasn't rumors. He tweeted like, "Yo, what the f?" Like, that's supposed to be your man's. Like, it reminded me of what Ray Allen did to the Celtics them years when he left, and everybody's like, "Oh, because of the money." Like, no, they was offering more money, but he felt, "I want to get traded," blah blah blah. And you know what? Y'all was talking about this other stuff, so I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. And I feel that it's like a slap in the face of your teammates in a sense to just dip and leave. And I'm not sure. I think the Clippers may have offered him a little bit more money than them. I don't remember. But to leave your team to go to the opposite LA team, I think that's kind of like a sus move. But I don't know. Go ahead, Tyrone.
For, let me see, maybe a week or so during the bubble, I actually heard rumors that he had issues with other teammates. So there's some kind of in-house thing with well, you said it. He has some issues with teammates. So I think the writing was on the wall with him. I'm actually not even surprised that he left. I mean, the Laker thing is a surprise, but I'm actually not surprised he left. So I think he had issues with management and coaching and not getting enough playing time. And when Zubac was playing better than him in the bubble, but I did give him a pass because, with his grandmother passing away, he didn't have the time to train during the bubble. So I gave him a pass on that. I don't think it's a big significant loss for the Clippers. It's a good. I think it's a good gain for the Lakers. I think the Clippers don't really, because they also, which you probably would have brought up anyway, they re-upped on Marcus Morris, who I think can give them more versatile. He's more versatile than Montrez, although Montrez brings that energy and he's a rough big. But I think Marcus Morris is a better offensive player. I didn't think he would stay. I thought he would have went and got more money, but surprisingly, the Clippers gave him the money.
Yeah.
So I guess it's probably why they let Harold walk. We can get, Marcus re-signed. But I think that the Lakers, by picking him up, they got some better energy off their bench. Dwight, even though Dwight played well off the bench and stuff like that, I think that Harold is a big improvement. Who knows where the balance is? Who's going to be the better team between two LA teams? I'm not too sure. I don't think he moved the needle that big compared to with the Clippers. But we'll see.
I just think it's principle. My thing is I think it's his principle. Like, now, granted, you gotta do whatever's best for you for your career. And like you said, with the whole, feeling, like, not having a proper fair share. The coach is no longer there. You have a whole new coach. You're probably going to institute a whole new system. Like, why would you even say, like, I'm not coming back? Like, that to me is kind of dumb. But go ahead. I said Malik and Hollister. So yeah.
Well, yeah. So I understand your point, and yeah, it wasn't super surprising that he didn't stay, but it was surprising that he went, to the Lakers of all teams after that. So, rivalry for Staples Center, for LA, all that kind of stuff, all the back and forth talking throughout the year, posturing, all that kind of stuff. It was kind of surprising he went there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he probably maybe got guarantees from them about what his role would look like. He was used to LA. And there's probably some internal stuff going on in that locker room. And he probably was like, you know what? This the move for me. But yeah, for me, I can understand his teammates feeling a little way. Yeah. And like that's why Pat Bev tweeted what he tweeted. I mean, he could also afterward he did say, I'm happy for him, this, that, and third, because you got love for the guy. But it is kind of that thing, and I think that example of kind of the Ray Allen thing was kind of similar, and I think that was a good way to put it. But it was surprising in that regard for sure.
Hollister, then I'll just say something real quick.
Yeah, out of all the free agency moves, this was the biggest shocker for me so far. I didn't expect him to leave the Clippers. Actually, I thought he was going to stay, come back more rejuvenated next year, try to really compete next year. But for him to go to the team down the hall in the Staples Center to go to the Lakers, I guess, like y'all all said, he pretty much something must have happened. And he probably said, look, let me just take myself out that equation, and come over here. And I guess LeBron must have called him and said, look, we'll have this role for you. I'm assuming he's probably going to start. Probably, I don't know.
I think they kept JaVale, so I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. So he probably going to be like the sixth man on the Lakers, and LeBron probably promised him a bigger role, and he probably more happy over there. But we're going to see how it works out.
I like how you said LeBron is going to promise the role. Like,
yeah, I was just about to get into that too. That's what I'm trying to say. LeBron is the GM. He's a freaking agent.
I like how he said, LeBron promised him a bigger role.
Yeah, think about it. Like the Hollister is 100% right. That's like people, that's the one thing
he said it. He said it. No, I was about to say because
I know what you're saying. Like he said it so convincingly, so nonchalant. Like LeBron probably get like LeBron is like freaking Rob Pelinka.
Him like, yo, come over here.
He probably like, what about Pelinka? LeBron's like, ain't no Pelinka. It's LeBlanca, all right? It's LeBron. I'm the GM. I'm the
Clutch Sports. You already on Clutch Sports like that. Rich Paul's my guy. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, people want to say, oh, like this ghost stuff, and I don't want to get into that, but we already had this discussion. But when you look at it, right? Granted, there are star players who kind of have some type of opinion of what direction the team is going to go.
He did it everywhere. Cleveland, Miami.
When he gets to a place, it's like everybody else is just like pseudo. They just there as a figurehead. He calls the shots. Like, to me, he's over there. He runs Clutch Sports. He got most of his guys that's in Clutch Sports over there. Now, don't get me wrong. You're putting your people on. More power to you.
Applause to that.
Yep. He's like, you know what? All right, Montrez, you know what you're doing next season. We talking about next season. You gonna come back? You gonna suck? Y'all gonna get swept? You're gonna lose. So the Denver Nuggets, you gonna come over here? I got you a nice role on this team. Don't worry. You're gonna start off in the sixth man. They're gonna be like 2K. You're gonna play a little well. Then we're gonna put you in the minutes in the start. All right. You do all that yelling and screaming over here. We good. All right. And then you're gonna tell us everything the Clippers be doing.
Yeah.
All right. All Kawhi's there. Where Kawhi be hiding stuff in his locker, you're gonna tell us all that. All right. All right. Like, no problem. I'm gonna do all that, man. You got it. Clutch Sports, right? Yeah, Clutch Sports. Yeah. It's like, to me, it's like LeBron is like single-handedly picking who he wants to play with. You know what I'm saying? Who he wants on his team. So to me, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, man, it got to come to a point where it's like, I get it. Like, your skill set, I know it's more like I said, I'm all for the players having powers and ability to, like, dictate their own future. But it gets to a point where it's starting to get kind of boring because it's like, all right, we know when LeBron get a team, they're going to blow it up. Like, LeBron could come to the Knicks right now. He could fix the Knicks right now. He'll come there.
Trade everybody.
Exactly. Everybody you want to get. He's like, well, we got to move him. We're going to bring him over here. People, I'm going to come over here. All right, I got Clutch on the line. Rich, go call them. They're coming over here. AD, like, I don't want to be in the Lakers no more. That's all folk shirt. He going to come to New York, have a, like, Spike Lee joint shirt on and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the issue that a lot of people have with LeBron. It's like too much power, too much say, and then too much control. And then, like, when he loses, everybody else get the blame except for him when he's the one kind of orchestrating a lot of the stuff. But like I said, respect to him, more power to him. But that was a shocker, like you guys said, for Montrez. Now, we got Marcus Morris. Tom mentioned him a little bit earlier, a few minutes ago. He stayed with the Clippers. He got a 4-year, $64 million deal. We still got Serge Ibaka. He's unrestricted free agent, and Marc Gasol. So I know teams are interested in both of them. I think the Lakers are actually looking to try to get Marc Gasol at one point. But I do hope that Serge make the right move and don't go to the Lakers and come to Brooklyn. Play with your boy KD, come to Brooklyn. So you got chips over here.
Come play with one of your best friends in the league.
Exactly. You got Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Still on. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I think Marc Gasol went back to Spain, and the Lakers are trying to pry him out of Spain. So I don't know.
I'm saying, but they still have him. He's still under contract still. He's unrestricted free agent, but he's just kind of like, all right, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna try to figure out what they're gonna do with him.
So you brought up Serge, right? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I mean, Serge. I mean, obviously, I want him to come to Brooklyn. I think that'd be a great move for us on Brooklyn, especially. But I know we still got a lot of bigs, but he can still space the floor. We can have certain lineups that could use certain use
three. We got
you can shoot three. We got defense. You got the shot blocking ability, and I feel like I said we're shoring up our benches. We have like a lot of veteran pieces now. We got Jeff Green on the team. Serge coming on the team if he comes there. We got a lot of pieces that could really solidify that team to be a strong team from top to bottom. And I feel that with adding Serge Ibaka to the team and don't have to give up anything because he's a free agent, I think that really helps with the Nets. And I think the Nets probably still got maybe a couple of moves to make before the season starts. But I think right now we're in a great position, and I feel that we should be okay. With the case, he's unrestricted. He want to get a big deal. I think he might be a next player to be walking from the Lakers, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think the Lakers going to spend a lot of money on him. They're going to kind of figure it out. DeAnthony Melton, he's staying in Memphis, 4 year, $35 million. Paul Millsap, Paul Millsap, one year, $10 million with the Denver Nuggets. Malik Beasley still he agreed to a 4 year, $60 million deal. Jakob Patel from the Spurs. 3 year, 27. Aaron Baines staying. I'm assuming Tristan Thompson.
Jakob Poeltl.
Yo, thank you, Jakob Poeltl. I said it all wrong. Jakob.
Yeah, that's exactly his name. I don't know what you said there, but I kind of when I heard the last name, I was like,
Patel. I didn't say Poeltl. I ain't seen no R in it, but whatever. I guess I'm just doing it by.
You know, there's European last names. You know how they are.
Aaron Baines, he's staying. Well, we don't know where he's gonna go, but he most likely might stay. He unrestricted. Tristan Thompson, Hausenowski broke it earlier that he went to the Celtics. All right. Jay Crowder, that was a shocker to me. He left.
Oh yeah.
He went to the Suns, 3 year, $30 million. I think that's a great move for the Suns.
He went again? Oh, Phoenix.
He went to Phoenix, 3 year, $30 million.
He gonna bring
I think that he just couldn't afford to keep
that definitely.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's gonna bring that toughness and that
have a lot of cap.
Yeah,
Miami have a lot of they have cap problems.
Yo, son, speaking of cap, freaking Golden State Warriors, they spending $160 million in luxury tax, but we'll get into them later.
They just saw Wanamaker.
Exactly. Justin Holiday, he stayed with the Pacers, 3 year, $18 million. Derek Favors, he left the Pelicans. He's with the Jazz, $3 million, $27 million back over there. Yoncho,
he went back to Utah.
Hernan Gomez, he's still unrestricted, ain't got nowhere. Kent Bazemore, still unrestricted. Dario Saric, like Hollis, maybe he a restricted free agent, but he's still there on the Suns. Jordan Clarkson, he signed a 4 year, $52 million deal with the Jazz. Derrick Jones Jr., he went to Portland, 2 years, $19 million. Wow, I didn't know he left. Wow.
That's a good pickup.
For them for real for Portland. Wesley Matthews left.
The club
went to the Lakers, 1 year, $3.6 million deal. Like the Lakers is trying to get like shooters around there.
That means Pope is gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what Pope. I want more money. He's like, we don't really need you. We got this guy who actually make a shot. You know what I'm saying?
and that probably
Wesley Matthews too.
That probably
and Wesley Matthews got better defense than KCP.
That probably ends Avery Bradley too.
Yeah, Avery Bradley gone.
Avery Bradley gone.
Yeah, he left.
He
went to the Heat.
He went to the Heat. Yeah. So he on the Heat. Thanks, guys. You know what I'm saying? Rajon Rondo.
Oh my God. He's a Heat.
2 years, $3 million to the Atlanta Hawks.
He fit that model. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Then you got JaMychal Green left the Clippers to go to Denver. 2 years, $15 million. So the Clippers going up, right? Rodney Hood, he stayed with Portland, 2 year, $21 million. Mo Harkless, he left the Knicks. He's gone to the Heat for $3.6 million for 1 year. Harry Giles III still unrestricted on the Kings. Langston Galloway still unrestricted with the Pistons. Elfrid Payton, he stayed with the Knicks, 1 year, $5 million deal. Shabazz Napier, he's still with the Wizards, unrestricted free agent. Jeff Green left the Rockets, agreed to a deal. They don't have his bread yet, but he agreed to a deal with the Nets. Yes, DJ Augustine, he left the Magic, right? He went to the Bucks, $3 million, 3 years, $21 million deal.
That's a good pickup for them right there.
Yeah, Avery Bradley. Yep, Avery Bradley left Lakers. He went to the Heat, 2 years, $11.6 million. That's good.
That's a great pickup.
Trey Burke.
Nope.
He agreed to a deal with the Dallas. So he's over there for the 76ers. Chris Dunn left the Chicago Bulls to a 2 year deal.
Thank
$10
God.
million with the Atlanta.
That's good riddance.
I did him dirty. So he was nice, bro.
He was actually
pretty nice.
work.
I ain't giving no love, man.
Well, I guess you would know better.
Yeah, I do. Good riddance.
I know you got Kobe White, but damn, son, y'all
enough said. Nah,
right.
he was done.
Michael
Kobe
Carter
took
Williams.
over that.
Yeah, Michael Carter Williams. He's staying with. He agreed to a 2-year deal. They don't got the bread yet. Jordan McLaughlin. He's staying with the Timberwolves. He's a restricted free agent. Javon Carter. I'm gonna skip some of these cats because we don't really care about them. Hassan Whiteside. He's still unrestricted. I think somebody. I forgot what team was interested in Hassan Whiteside.
Jeff T. Him.
Yeah, Jeff T. The problem with Hassan Whiteside is that he's like a lazy guy. Like when he comes into the matchup he care about, like playing against like an AD or like a Joel Embiid, he show up. He play. He getting blocked. He doing everything. But then when he go play other games, like
he not a problem. He not a problem in fantasy because I know.
I know, but
Barkley said it best.
I ain't worried about him. I ain't worried about his fantasy value.
What Barkley said?
But yeah,
Barkley said it best. Once he got paid, he just fell off. He didn't care about nothing no more. He got that 90 million. He just
but he did step up and he did step up for Portland last year though.
Yeah, I mean,
when Nurkic was out.
Bubble, they blew his bubble.
But that's because Nurkic came back. Nurkic is a better player.
Before Nurkic came back, he was kind of like looking lackluster. Like his energy was not there. Like, if he played like how he played, like I said, when he playing against the guys he want to play against, he could be like so nice. You know what I'm saying? But like he be acting like soft, man. But whatever. Mason Plumlee. Oh snap! Mason Plumlee left the Denver Nuggets and he's on the Pistons 3-year, $25 million deal. To Malik's point, I don't know what they're doing. Again, like all centers, they want to have. You know how Houston went all small ball, they go all big ball.
They need to.
Detroit, he's trying to revamp.
It's like Derrick Rose with 4 power forwards.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
They need to just let Derrick Rose put.
What happened? You said, Tom?
You're going in and out. You can't.
No, I was like, they need to just let Derrick Rose come back to Chicago.
Yeah. That'll be a good look for him. I think he'll
get him out of Detroit.
So we got Dwight Howard.
That's all I was saying.
He left the Lakers.
He wants to go back.
And he's a 1 year, $2.6 million deal with the 76ers. I kind of feel that it defeats the purpose of even getting rid of Al Horford. It's like, what's the point of getting rid of Al Horford to bring Dwight Howard on the team? He's not going to space the floor. Cheaper. I mean, granted, he is cheaper, but I guess he could still come off the bench as your backup, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel it's a weird move. Not taking nothing away from Dwight. I'm happy for him. Got his ran. No Shaq was on him, but kind of weird. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you want to know something though with the Dwight and the Al Horford thing? Is him and Embiid didn't fit together. It just didn't make. It wasn't a good mesh. So they had to do it. You're not going to trade Embiid. So you have to give up Horford.
I was trying to say the point. Go ahead, Malik.
Horford plays better. I think Horford. No, I was saying. I think. Let me get it out first. No, because what I was saying is I think Horford is a better player than what he showed in Philly, but Embiid. I mean, him and Embiid just didn't gel together. That's all, and they had to do something. I understand what you're saying. Like it's like they could have got something back better for him, but that's all they could have gotten. I mean, who did they trade him to OKC, right?
Yes.
And they got Danny Green and So yeah, I mean, listen, man, it is what it is.
That's good. You spread the floor with those clowns. Not clowns, but those two guys.
I mean, they needed more shooting.
Go ahead, Malik.
That team was very stagnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it did feel a little weird to me. Right. One, the whole situation was weird because first he tweeted out he was staying with the Lakers. Then deleted it mad quick. Then somebody else reported that he was going to the Sixers. So I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if he made that move first or they told him about the Trez thing. And then
LeBron told him.
Yep, Solid. Thank you.
Right.
I'm gonna say that same thing.
LeBron hit him up. Was like, yo, why you tweeted that out, bro?
Well, like,
it's all good, thank you, but nah. And he went, and then I guess the Sixers was probably the main of a team that was calling. And I mean, they have made a lot of moves, so maybe he felt he had a shot over there. I just feel like it had to be something behind the scenes because I don't see why he would leave per se the Lakers to have a similar role.
And he was happy there too
on the Sixers when he was happy there, and he just won a championship. So that was just a little weird to me. That whole sequence and the way it played out. So yeah, it was just a little funny to me. I just would like to know the order of things, like how that really happened. But I guess we'll never know. Exactly. But he is Sixer, so we'll see how that works. And yeah, he'll definitely probably have to be a backup, or I think how somebody said it in our group chat, but maybe like insurance just in case Embiid is hurt, or so they don't have to overplay him or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The load management.
Yeah, right.
So, Hollis, you got something to say on that? Okay, I want to make a joke or two about this.
With the white thing, I guess he figured he'd get more money on Philly than the Lakers. Yeah. He's pretty much near the end of his career, so he's like, look, he'd rather get his money because he might have some child support to be paying soon. But
yeah, man, kids, and he got butt injuries and stuff. So, like you said, my thing with the Dwight Howard joint is like, I agree with you. I felt that the reason why I feel it's kind of weird. The reason why I feel it's a weird thing is because it's like they got rid of a center. Now, granted, Al Horford's more of like a spread the floor center, and I know they try to do like this kind of like they play at the same kind of at the same time, and they kind of like clog the lane and clog the floor. But it's like, all right, you got Dwight. Unless Dwight's sole purpose just to be a backup center, I don't see why he's any different. He's actually worse than Al Horford as far as offensively and shooting the ball. Like the Dwight Howard defensively, obviously, is an upgrade from Al Horford and stuff like that. But to me, I felt it's kind of weird. But to Malik's point, we got to know the order of things. Like, maybe he was like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm always gonna be purple on the girl. And LeBron's like, yo, man, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah, what's up, LeBron? What's up, LBJ? What's up, King? So yeah, man, I did promise you a chip, right? He's like, yeah, you did, man. Thank you so much. I got this chip. You know what I mean? Anything is possible. Believe in your dreams. He's like, yeah, I know, man, but I never say you're gonna be here for more than 1 year, bro. He's like, what? He said, yeah, you out here talking crazy and these things. I mean, we got Trez on the line. Like, you know how I get down, man. You didn't want to sign with Clutch. I told you, man. It's like you already know this was coming, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry, we'll get you a nice little stimulus package. Don't worry. Let me see if I can hit somebody else. Like, yo, Elton. Yo, what's up, LeBron? Like, yo, man, you got a little spot for Dwight. Like, I mean, I could make something happen. I don't know, but you know what I mean? He can't be coming over here with that stuff. Like, nah, he good, man. He don't do that no more. All right, man. Yeah, we give him a little 2.6. 2.6, yo, how that sound to you, though? But I'll give him like, no, son, there ain't nothing else over here for you. All right? Either you here or you going to play in Israel. What do you want to do? I'll take the deal. I'll take the deal. That's what happened to Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? And they send him on, and then Trez like, yo, thank you. Got rid of Dwight. Yo, clear up my locker, son. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. Now he over there. So that's what happened to Dwight Howard, bro. But more power to him. You know what I'm saying? Now we got Garrett Temple, right? Garrett Temple. He left the Nets, and it's unfortunate, but he signed with the Bulls 1 year, $5 million deal. I mean, he'll help upgrade the Bulls tremendously because the Bulls need that. Carmelo Anthony he stayed with Portland. He agreed to a new deal. I'm happy for him. I think that was a smart move. Like the whole rumors of him coming back to the Knicks and all that. So stay with the team that actually wanted you, who actually gave you some like time, who actually could be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Like
he fit well with them.
You said actually?
Why go to a Knicks team that you're not gonna make no playoffs, or go to another team? What do you mean?
Actually? Did you say Portland is definitely going to make the playoffs? What? There's no actually. You said, they may.
No, I'm saying we're actually going to make the playoffs.
No, I said the team that actually like.
No, they're definitely
actually like them, and who they actually make the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. That they
actually.
Yeah, that's what they make the playoffs. They actually make the playoffs.
He was like, actually, no, I was like, nah, they're making the playoffs.
No, I said actually like him. That's what I'm trying to say. Actually like him. Like who actually wanted him. Like nobody else really wanted him. Like even his homie Banana Boat.
No, I know that.
LeBron.
We all know that.
You know what? Let's give him.
That's where he should spend the rest of his years. He should never play for another team because they're the only ones that wanted him.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that. It's just I heard you say actually make the playoffs.
No. I said actually like him and then make they make the playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna skip some of these other guys. We don't care about no Kyle Korver, Eton Moore, and them other guys. I'm gonna skip them. It's Raul Nader. I'm gonna skip them. Reggie Jackson, he's still unrestricted. But he said Austin Rivers, unrestricted free agent. Alec Burks. He left the 76ers to go sign a 1 year deal with the Knicks for $6 million. I think that's kind of a waste because wasn't he on the Knicks and they let him go and then he went back to them? It's just weird. Willie Cauley-Stein, unrestricted. Markeith is with the Lakers, unrestricted free agent. Alex Len, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, unrestricted. DeMarcus Cousins, I think people looking into him. He's unrestricted free agent. James Ennis, he signed a deal, 1 year deal with the Magic, and then that Chris Chiozza with the Nets. I don't know. He's a restricted free agent. They might trade him. Drew Eubanks, 3 years, $5.29 million. He's staying with the Spurs. Robin Lopez left the Bucks with his brother, and he's had a 1 year deal with the Wizards. We will get into Wizards after this. I want to just read off this list real quick. We got Gary Matthews. All right, we don't care about him. Josh Jackson. Wow, Josh Jackson left Memphis. He signed a deal to Detroit. You have Pat Connaughton stayed 3 years, $16 million. Bobby Portis, the guy snuffing people in the locker room. He went to the Bucks. He's gonna break some jaws in the Bucks locker room for 2.
That's a good pickup.
2 years. I think that's a good pickup too. But he gotta know his role over there. He might do whatever.
Nah, Mirotic started. He had to tap that jaw. He had to tap that jaw on Mirotic.
Myers Leonard, he's staying with the Heat 2 years, $20 million. Then you got Bitz backing on him. He might be gone. Anthony Tolliver, Gerald Green, all them other cats don't really care. Denzel Valentine, one of the biggest Bulls players.
Jesus Christ.
1 year, $4.7 million. He's staying with the Bulls.
Oh my God.
Dwayne Bacon left the Hornets to go to a 2-year deal with the Magic. They don't talk about the bread yet. And that's about it for now that we have. But speaking of like the Wizards and stuff like that, we all saw.
Oh wait.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, did you talk about the De'Aaron Fox thing? I know.
That's what I'm about to say. We're gonna get into those right now. Right. So before we get to De'Aaron Fox, I know Hollister mentioned him earlier when we talk about the free agency. I want to talk about real quick the Wizards, because everybody's talking about this whole thing, and everybody talking about Bradley Beal should go to the Nets. So this is before they heard the John Wall getting healthy, and then he saw John Wall. He said, "I want to stay." Now John Wall said he want to be out. He said, "Look, the Wizards has been treating him kind of grimy. They said they got on him for like seeing the video or a picture with him doing some gang sign thing, and he didn't like the way they was saying about him and the other stuff. So he want to be out. So I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but if I was Bradley Beal, I'm like, all right, you traded him, you might have to trade me too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they was gonna do a swap for him and Harden. Then it was like they're gonna do another trade. Westbrook, and they was gonna do another trade with somebody else. I don't know how that's going to work. And
about the Knicks and all of this.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Malik?
Yeah, so, I mean, I love John Wall from before. He was balling before he got hurt. Unfortunately, he missed like the last 2 years with 2 injuries. It's similar to almost like what's going to now happen with Clay, where, he's going to have to miss 2 kind of consecutive years. But, they showed all the pickup games and the rehab, and he's supposed to be pretty much back to normal. He's looking pretty good.
He said this first time he played his whole career not hurt.
Yeah, he wanted to. Then Beal did say what he said. Mm-hmm. Then I guess after hearing like, y'all was really trying to trade me for Westbrook or for this or that, and then he probably was like, all right, if that's how y'all moving, I don't want to be here then. And yeah, if I was Bradley Beal, if they're going to get rid of John Wall and not bring something back that could compete, I think they said they wanted to build around Bradley Beal or something. I think some owner or GM, somebody said something like that. Which, I mean, Bradley Beal is, he put in that work when John Wall was gone. He averaged like 30 last year.
He actually developed, but John Wall was that dude when he was there.
But John Wall put in work for the Wizards. And even when they had that call, like they had Otto Porter, Oubre, that year they made a decent playoff run, and
there's like 40 points a game almost in that freaking playoff series.
Like John will put that joint as like he was putting in work. So I know he feel disrespected, especially probably as somebody who's being loyal to that organization. I mean, they did give him the money, so he did get that big deal. So, but now he just kind of sees where they at, and I could understand that. And I mean, at the end of the day, I do think it was going to be hard to trade him because there's a lot of uncertainty with him missing 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and he has a big contract. So I think that's why they probably were looking at Westbrook, because like numbers wise, his and Westbrook's contract are kind of comparable.
So I think Westbrook's going to actually hurt that team, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think Westbrook would be the move. I think John Wall and Bradley Beal already have a certain level of chemistry and some level of trust and other stuff between each other. And, Westbrook could ball, former MVP, all that stuff, but he definitely sometimes has issues playing with other people sometimes. So, I mean, I don't see them like getting Westbrook and them elevating to another level. With a healthy John Wall on that team, I don't think, bringing in Westbrook would do much different. or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll see what will happen. They might just be like, "Oh, we ain't trading," or maybe don't find no deals or something. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. But I definitely understand how John Wall feels some type of way.
Yeah, Hollister.
Yeah, I agree with what Menelik said, but also I would look at it this way. I would do just exactly what the Rockets plan to do with Westbrook and Harden. I'm not trading nobody. Let's see, what you could do, especially with John Wall's situation. He had with 2 injuries. He didn't really play the last 2 years that much. I will wait, play it out this year, see how, he looks health wise. If he looks good this year, then see what you could potentially get for him. Because now I don't think they could get but so much in a trade for him now. So they should just wait it out. If they're going to trade him, they might as well trade him and Bradley Beal at the same time to try to get like an overhaul or something. But it's not only so much they could really get from him in return now because teams, are going to be kind of skeptical by his contract plus his health. So I will wait it out probably next off season and see how things look and then see what value you could get in return for him. But he got to, he got to do what he got to do this year. He got to prove himself again that he's one of the elite point guards in the NBA.
Yeah,
Tyrone?
I mean,
No, Menelik was about to say.
No, I was just going to just say, yeah. I mean, he does got to kind of prove himself again in that sense that he still could be the same player or close to the same player. That was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And with John Wall, what you just said there, like this past season, his extension kicked in, so he's making 38. I think he's making 40, 42, 44 the next three years, something like that, 40, 42. And you're crying because your name's in a rumor. These kids are so sensitive now. It's not even funny. He heard one rumor about one trade about Russell Westbrook. It's not like they were trading him for picks and like
cash consideration.
Yeah, like it was for Russell Westbrook. And in my opinion, if he would have went to Houston for Russ and Harden would have went to Brooklyn for the overhaul that Brooklyn would have given them, the alleged, I think that would have been a nice little team to be around. Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. If that would have happened. So how bad would that really have been for a guy making $40 million a year? I don't get it. You've been injured for 2 seasons. You had one major injury, and then you fell at home and tore your Achilles. So you had to miss another season. You missed the remaining 2018-2019 season. Then you tore your Achilles after you had an injury to end that season. You missed the entire 2019-2020 season. They're bringing you back. You look better than ever. Okay, they throw your name in a little rumor. Big deal. They probably wouldn't have traded you anyway because nobody's going to take that contract. So what are you upset about? I don't get it. I don't get it. You even if they traded you, they gave you that money. You should be grateful. They gave you that money. Who else was going to give you that money? They gave you the money. They put your name in a little rumor. It was a pipe dream to see him and Russ get traded for each other. I doubt Washington would have done it. But come on. You're in your late 20s. You're making $40 million a year. Stop crying. They're not going to trade you. Come back with Bradley Beal. Be one of the best backcourts in the game. And try to go for a playoff run. Stop crying, man.
They probably use that as motivation for him.
That's all I got to say, man. Because I don't understand how a man $40 million a year is whining and complaining. And I like John Wall.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like to Melik's point, and I think it was a little bit more than just that. I think it was the fact that he was like, going through what he was going through. Also, the fact that you hear these different things, like you try to be loyal to certain teams and you're doing your thing, and then it's like everybody trying to throw you in these trade rumors. But like I was going to say, and I agree with you, Tyrone, it's like it's a business. We already know that nobody's not tradable. Nobody is like, you have to be a real top echelon player to be a guy who is like untouchable. Like everybody got the trade clauses in their thing. Only a selected few players got no trade clauses in their contract. That prevents them from getting traded to random teams. And that's very rare you get that. And at the end of the day, you got your money. You didn't play for them for 2 years. Right? Yes, you look better than ever. You said you all your whole life you've been playing with like bone spurs in your knees and you never was fully healthy. Now you're fully healthy with no issues. You're going to be even better. That's yet to be seen. And at the end of the day, like you said, you got your bread. You had 2 years off, and one of them is because of your own accord. Like you fell in your crib and tore your stuff up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the NBA, another NBA, the Wizards, they like, you know what, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to try to get a return on their investment. And if they look at Bradley Beal, who also had issues in the past with being healthy, but has been showing and then been proven to have that trajectory to be a better player, they might say, look, you know what, he has a better morale with the guys. He has some type of leadership quality that we like that John Wall doesn't have. Maybe we'll take with this guy and build around him as opposed to keeping John Wall on the team, especially when they had like the whole quote unquote gang thing that they were saying that they didn't like. So at the end of the day, you got your money. Don't take it personally. Just play your ball and do what you got to do. And you'll learn that. After what I seen what happened to Isaiah Thomas, when his sister died, he played for them and he got hurt, and then they just threw him to the wayside and he can get that big check that he was supposed to get. That NBA just showed how cold the NBA is when it comes to doing what they got to do. So you should take that as an example and don't trust any of these owners. Don't trust any of these things. Just look at it like it's a businessship and partnership. Get your money. That's why it's very hard for me sometimes, even with the LeBron thing. Like I know that he be doing some stuff that be kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, the owners will probably do the same thing too. So, you know, I gotta be like with the players in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But it's what it is. But Hollister, I know you said you want to talk about De'Aaron Fox, so you can go to Melik and then Town. And
yeah, I was just mentioning it, you know, when we talk about the whole free agents. I think it was that's a good signing. You know, he's hopefully, you know, he proves that he's worth all of that money. I like De'Aaron Fox. He's he's still an up and coming point guard of the future. He's a really good guy. I think he's gonna, you know, hopefully bring that excitement back to Sacramento that they haven't had in years. They just got to, you know, build a team around him. Hopefully, him and Buddy Hield, you know, to continue to get better and add about couple more pieces, you know, to try to contend in the Western Conference.
Just in. Well, it's not just in. The Lakers re-signed Caldwell Pope, so he's back there 3 years, $40 million.
Oh wow!
And Nerlens Noel going to the Knicks.
Wow,
1 year deal.
The center team.
Another another like.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think the Knicks are picking up players that they can probably this the only
contract.
It's like expiring contract. I think they still had like $35 million left at the time. So they probably picked him up. They're gonna probably like shove around like, all right, we got this guy, and try to create some lucrative packages for some other teams to try to get something, because it don't make sense. And that's what I was trying to explain to Lucas yesterday, or not yesterday, last time on the podcast. Like, look, you know what I mean? The Knicks, they don't like to stick to like a plan. They just get kind of like trigger happy. They got money, they want to spend it, and then they look stupid. Go ahead.
Noel, where did Noel sign? I'm sorry.
The Knicks.
I went out for a second.
Knicks.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Knicks is signed.
Damn, so much for me picking him in fantasy. So much for me picking him in fantasy next year.
Well, yeah, it's
good,
really
good shot block.
I mean, I know they got rid of Taj and you know Pence and some of those other guys, so it's not as crowded. But now y'all making it somewhat crowded. I guess too. I feel like with Gibson, I thought they might have kept him just because you know he was a Thibodeau guy and he could have been a solid vet, but you know it was too much money. And then they probably figured Tibbs would have played him over the young guys. So they probably
it's great. It disgusted me to see Taj Gibson in that uniform. He need to come back to Chicago. That's what he need to do, where he belongs.
Yeah, they ain't want him over there.
That was John Paxson in them, man. That don't got nothing to do with me and my new regime.
He said nothing to do with me.
And my regime.
That's my team. So they like they're the GM. So unfortunately, they're gonna keep making those same moves.
Oh, I'm gonna be the GM one day. We winning championships. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Nah.
So they said about the
I'll jump in on the De'Aaron Fox.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump in on the De'Aaron Fox thing. Now a lot of people are gonna say, "Damn, it's a lot of money," but honest to God, every franchise has this money to spend, and they have to spend it somewhere. And him being the best available player and the best player on their team, you got to give these players the max. I know a lot of people criticize certain players for getting the max, but you got to think about it. They're not going to. A lot of these players are not going to get the guys that you hear about all the time. So, and the money has to be spent. So you got to spend it and invest on players like De'Aaron Fox and make him the face of the franchise. That's what people don't understand. Maybe he'll develop into that superstar that earns the money and to get the investment back. But you got to spend it somewhere to get to that place. Not every player that you see now was superstars when he first came out. Like nobody looked at Kawhi as a superstar when he first came out. So everybody that wants to get on De'Aaron Fox for getting 160 million, which could turn to 190, can't be mad at Sacramento for that. I mean, who were they going to get?
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And who's going to turn that down? I'll sign that contract too. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to take that. And to your point, it is harder for teams like Sacramento or teams that haven't been good or where the front offices are not really trusted to really get marquee free agents to sign with them. So if you have a player who, shows some promise and they willing to sign that contract, you're going to throw that money at them. And I mean, that's pretty much what they did. I mean, they got Buddy Hield, but I think he was saying some other stuff before that he wanted to be traded or leave, or
I forgot what he crying about being on the bench.
But
he ain't like the coach.
It's because they always bring him off the bench.
And they fired everybody. Did they get rid of Vlade and all them?
Vlade resigned because he kept his word. He said if they don't make the playoffs in 3 years of me being in charge, I'm going to resign, and he did.
Okay.
So he kept his word. I don't know who's running the team. I don't know who's running it now, but I know a guy like Buddy Hield. He's always crying about being on the bench. Like you're a good shooter, but you don't have no say in who starts and who. You're not that good.
Sometimes people they get carried away with the whole thing and they want to be.
What's wrong with the bench? Just worry about playing in the fourth quarter. What are you worried about the bench?
No, a lot of people don't be caring about that. They want to be able to be like a significant piece, and they want to start. They want to be like, I want to be able to do that. I want people to see that I'm nice. And like you said, just like do your thing. You're gonna get your minutes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these cats said they play 2K, but I don't think they really played it. You know what I'm saying? They know how to.
They edited the lineup.
You know what I'm saying? Like you do your thing, you get your stuff going. But my thing, like y'all said, is like, I think that was a good move for them. Sometimes you got to secure young talent. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a part, you know what I mean? Yes, you want to be relevant. You want to do everything you can. But at the end of the day, you got to try to secure some of the talent that you have on your squad as opposed to trying to like play things by ear. And I feel that a lot of teams are starting to realize that, especially with these young assets, like, try to get them the bread if you can. You know what I'm saying? Not if they're not producing, obviously, you got to cut your losses. But if they're proven that they have an upside, they're proven that they work hard and they can make a difference, then I feel that you should try to like keep these players and do what you have to do. If not, then you got to move on from them. You try to get something better. And I feel like the Kings, they're in a rocky road. A lot of people don't know what they've been doing. That they hadn't been relevant since that Chris Webber team and Mike Bibby and them. And they really need to get some stuff in order. But it's always going to be a team like that who's trying to figure it out. And a lot of times it's luck too, man. You find a good piece, you get a good player, and things start to gel well, and people play above their potential, and they get chips. But it's very rare that this happens. It's off rip. So we should see.
Yeah, and the deal has incentives in it, which will help. Him really try to really improve with the team in a certain sense. Because if I could get an extra, $40 million or something like that in my deal, I mean, I would be motivated in general, but that would definitely add a whole lot of something to it. So
exactly. So yeah, I mean, like that was pretty much it for mainly of the free agent stuff that we kind of know about right now. I know there's gonna be some more things coming down the pipeline that we'll probably get privy to when it happens, but at the moment that's like the notable things that's been going on so far. It's just been a crazy few days seeing how many people change teams and for what reasons behind it, and some trades. I mean, a lot of the big trades like the James Harden thing and Westbrook stuff kind of fell on the back burner because a lot of the teams like, look, I'm not going to just trade up these great assets just for some scraps, you know what I'm saying? And especially now that the draft is over, there's no other incentives there. And like Tyrone said earlier, that the draft was relatively weak. So it's not to say that I needed to make a crazy move to try to get some like a new prospect. It's like, all right, after the first 10 guys, maybe, you could kind of just up in the air to picking up some guys that's going to be some solid role players or solid players in their own right. So to me, I'm still curious to see what other trades and stuff that's going to come down the line. But for the most part, I feel like the heavy lifting has been done already. and like now you got like the scraps per se, for lack of a better word, trying to find their team and find their moves. Unless a team really trade like an asset, like how Danny Green got traded within a few days. Lakers, freaking OKC to now, freaking 76ers, right? 76ers. Huh?
I think so.
Yeah,
Trevor
Danny
Ariza
Green,
got it
yeah.
worse. He got
Trevor Ariza done been on 4 teams
again.
Yeah,
in like a week.
and that's somebody said like somebody said he had to fire his freaking like housing agent because like everywhere he go like nope, you know I'm gonna live. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
I don't even think he visited those cities that traded him this week. I think he's just waiting until he finally stepped somewhere.
I think he on Detroit now. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
No, they traded him
again.
They traded him.
Yeah, I think he might
I'm
be.
Just saying, I'm saying it now because I'm pretty sure it did happen.
You might be right.
I'm just assuming it. I'm just assuming it. No, because I think he went from Houston to OKC or Portland, and Portland to Detroit. No, he got traded again. He's not on Detroit. I know that for sure. I think he got traded draft night. It might. I want to say Phoenix, but I could be wrong.
They said the Thunder. They said draft compensation. There's a 3-team trade. Rockets trade Ariza to the Pistons. And he said he considered a Houston return, but he wanted an apology.
An apology.
Yeah, I guess they probably did him dirty when he was over there.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on that team that they almost went to the finals.
Yeah.
Then the next year they just kind of was like, all right.
Yeah, they let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's traded to the Thunder now. Done right to the Pistons. So what happened was I think it was a 3-team deal.
Yeah, Oklahoma City's going to trade him again. He's going to get traded again. He's not staying.
Nigga send him to Brooklyn.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
what more do y'all want, man?
I mean, I don't really want him, but I'll just say I'll take Serge. But we don't get Serge.
Oh yeah, definitely Serge for sure.
I mean,
y'all not getting Serge. Y'all don't have the money for that. You're not getting Serge. Like, where's he playing? You got DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen. Where's he going?
We can get rid of Jared Allen if we have to.
Get rid of Taurean Prince too.
Yeah, that was part of the trade.
Where is Ibaka going to play? You have 2 big men already.
He can play the power forward. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Oh God. Okay.
We'll figure it out. Look, that's a good problem for us to have.
I mean, I guess you're right about that. I mean, I wasn't thinking about power forward, but
I'd rather deal with this than worry about Harden coming in and we training the whole team for Harden. No disrespect to Harden, but
no disrespect to Harden. Y'all had all that smoke. Y'all was talking smoke the other day. What you say, Mike?
I said I was 50-50
we both were saying that. No, I said if we get him, we gonna possibly win a chip, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that I agree with Hollister. Even when I spoke to Aubrey and them first, I was like, you know what? It sounds great, but I said I don't know how it's gonna work. And my biggest thing is like the chemistry. Like granted, like Melik said, if you have to make the move, you make the move because at the end of the day, you get a superstar potential player like that for those people that you traded up. You don't pass that up. You try to get him and try to make it work. So that's how I was saying. You try to make it work and we can figure it out. But at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to get to the point where you like the Lakers almost or the other teams where you trade away all your assets and you're weak, your bench is weak, and like, you know, you only can play them for certain many minutes. But at the end of the day, if we don't get James Harden, I'm still thinking that the team is good enough to make it to the finals and win anyway. So Harden would just be like, all right, you know, that's like the icing on the cake. Like that's pretty much saying that if they can all play well, mess with each other, and make sure nobody get hurt and they play healthy, so we can actually do.
So with the Brooklyn Nets currently constructed the way they are they the championship contender?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are they the favorites? Are they going to win the championship?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Especially after you watch KD play. See, people like Hollister, Melik, and myself, we looking at it where we know KD gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like I think KD, because what I'm hearing about how he was playing over the, you know, these breaks and doing his thing, I think he's gonna be just fine. A lot of people like Max Kellerman and them, they were like, oh, it's only Achilles, and oh my gosh, it's over. He's might as well just stick a fork in him. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I feel that he's gonna be dope. I feel like the only caveat is Kyrie, because Kyrie tends to get hurt a lot, and if Kyrie doesn't, you know, play the way he's supposed to play as far as meshing the way he should mesh, then yes, we might have an issue. But I feel that because of the leadership of Kevin Durant and his style of play and his demeanor, I feel that if he can work with Russell Westbrook and make the playoffs and make it to the Western Conference Finals and make it to the finals, he can do that with Kyrie Irving. So
I mean, Kyrie himself has said, which Kyrie don't be saying stuff like that about a lot of people. He said, this is a guy that I could look at and think he could make that shot. He has a certain level of respect for Durant that I think will allow him to play with him and buy in a certain sense and not, and they friends outside of that. So I think they'll be able to figure that out. And then, as far as the other pieces like LeVert, Dinwiddie, and Prince and Allen, all those guys, I think they have the depth that they'll figure it out. When worst case, they still can make a move at some point in the season if things ain't, fully gelling. But I think they have enough.
Yeah.
As is, they have the talent. It's just figuring out the best rotations and, just them getting that time, that chemistry, etc. And it's obviously health is important. They need to. Kyrie and KD need to be healthy, but with that in place, I think they definite championship contenders.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. But if you guys have nothing else to say, I think this is a good one. I think we can wrap it.
Just the beginning.
I just want to say we touched on it a little bit, but with Clay,
Clay.
all the best to Clay. Prayers to him. I want him to come back. The guy was underappreciated, undervalued while he was there. One of the best ever. The man scored 37 points in a quarter without missing a shot.
Dribbled the ball like 4 times.
He scored 60, barely dribble. Like, the guy can get ridiculously hot, lights out. He's just such a good player. And I just really hope, man, that, and Tyron, I think, mentioned it before, like it was in our group chat. I think that reminded him a little bit potentially like what happened with Derrick Rose, where it's like one injury and another injury. And I hope it doesn't end up being, too much like that. Because, he's still young. He's still got a lot. And he showed so much promise and potential.
Yeah. He was like the Iron Man at one point.
Yeah, he was the Iron Man. He barely missed games before that. So it's like one of those things, something happened and then it spirals out of control. But that work ethic that he had, he wasn't selfish. He took whatever role. When KD came, he knew he was going to get a little more diminished role. He stepped up, still got his. Like, he's just that kind of guy that could even just get his, do what he need to do. No matter what. He saved them that time when they were down against OKC. He saved them another time. Like, he was about almost saved them. And last year with the year before.
And look at the last game. Look at the last game he played. Before, when he tore his, he was balling.
Yeah,
in that game.
Danny Green, griminess,
balling.
Hit him and made him get hurt. It was an accident, but sometimes. But honestly, they even teach you that. Like, he knew he was going to block that shot. He was going for the foul. He could have just let him dunk, and like even Clay said, man, I should have just laid it up. But he went for the dunk. But at the same time, what he should have did a little bit different. And like to Melly's point with the Klay Thompson thing, I think they always say like when you hurt yourself and you injure yourself, a lot of times the other parts of your body tend to put more damage on it because, like, at the end of the day, it was his right leg. He caught an Achilles on it. He's been working. His left leg was the one with the injury. He's probably putting a lot of more work, a lot more pressure on the right leg. And eventually, that's going to give out too because, of the whole, imbalance. And at the end of the day, he was working so hard to get back. I watched this video on YouTube and he was like playing with the new guys and dunking and doing his thing and lifting heavy and
stuff too. Man, he was like, really going.
Like the double thing they were talking about, like instead of the bubble, they had like their own like 2 weeks, like where they quarantine. They had like their own like pseudo bubble at the Chase Arena, whatever Chase Bay Center, whatever you want to call it. And he was doing this thing. So for me, I feel that it was something that was like a little bit messed up for him. And I feel that like it's hard, especially when you're so close to playing again. And then now you got to wait a whole nother year, go through the whole rehab process. Because rehab sucks, man. I had to rehab with my shoulder, and I didn't have a surgery, but I had my arm in a sling for 3 weeks. I couldn't even move my arm past my freaking stomach. I had to learn how to stretch my arm back. I had to learn. My arm's still not even fully like rotated the way it should be. It's still tight. I can't like turn it flat and stuff like that to this day. I still don't have full rotation on my, but I know he on NBA player you get better treatment. But at the end of the day, it sucks having to go to the, physical therapy and building up those muscle structures again and building that stuff back. It's crazy. So I really do hope.
And the Achilles is probably the worst one.
Exactly. Man.
Yeah, and he in the middle of his prime,
Exactly.
and to miss 2 years like that,
back to back.
I mean, I think he could come back as far as, his shot is just
the shooter. He have a long
generational. He's gonna be able to shoot, but he's also a really good defender, and that part of his game might take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to see him come back, man, and be healthy and just be able to contribute. Him and Steph do their thing. And,
it's weird to me, man. I don't want to sound like I know people. The bodies have been, grown differently back in the day, and the people that the food we used to eat back in the day probably a little bit better. But Cass was playing in freaking chucks with no support and not having hardly any of these injuries. And these cats put these no technology and all this tape and all this extra stuff getting their joints snapped up. And it's like you wearing them Ling Ning joints. And it's like, I'm not trying to blame
what a lot of it is? You know what a lot of it is too? They have a lot of muscle. There's a lot of muscle, a lot of definition, and everything's tight now. Their bodies are more tight and firm, and like it's the muscle, and then a lot of these players, they weigh more now than some guys maybe 15, 20 years ago. So that pressure and all that weight that can be contributed to it. Because how many ACL injuries did you hear about back in the day? Not Achilles too.
And
injuries are more
crazy to say. Yeah, sorry. What you said was crazy. Like I read this article and I had this guy talking about it. He was like, "Look, man, a lot of time back in the day, well, I think it was an athlete who said this. Like, look, man, after like when we was kids, like after we finished playing basketball, the basketball season was done. We go play baseball,
play different sports.
We go play different sports. So it kind of spreads out like the different muscle groups that you're using. And then it's like, we was doing that. It's like now these kids they play basketball all year. They play basketball AAU tournaments all year.
They're beating up the same muscle over and over again.
No, there's no rest
all year round instead of playing.
Like Clay, he working out, doing his run, doing his stuff, and jump shooting, and running around, doing his jumping drills, and running. Like he probably like put an extra strain on it, and sometimes it could just be because sometimes even with me, like I might feel like something, like a little bit like kind of like a spasm kind of tight, and you might make a false move, and then boom, you tear your freaking plantar flashes, and you might do something, you tweak your ankle, you might tweak something. There's little things you don't know, and it's like. You have to tweak it. Even me, I'm kind of scared because I've been playing basketball since March of last year. Like for real. Like I haven't played in my league. I haven't shot a basketball. I haven't dribbled a basketball, and I miss it so much. But if I know, God forbid, me working out, I've been working out now, getting more brolic, and then try to go play ball, it's gonna be probably scary. Like I'm gonna have to really try to like get myself in shape and stretch because I don't want to get no injury. Not saying I'm playing at their level, but these freak things be happening. You got to be careful. So.
That mental aspect to get back to it. That's the hard part.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, man. But if you guys have anything else, and thank Melik for bringing up the Clay thing, because I did mention I wanted to say that. Appreciate that. But if you guys have anything else, we can use it. If not, we're going to wrap it.
No, we're good, man. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot more next week because the season's coming close. Yeah. I want to throw a little idea out there, too. I think, like, maybe the week, that week before the December 22nd season start, I think we all should come up with, like, a, prediction, like, make a list and have our top 8 teams that make the playoffs.
Like the East Conference.
Yeah.
Brooklyn,
East and the West.
Brooklyn.
I get it. But come up with 1 to 8. We're not gonna predict. We're not predicting playing games. We're not gonna predict playing games. We're just gonna predict 1 through 8 in East and West. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool
to talk about.
Yeah. That's a good idea. We could do that.
But now with the season getting close, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking nothing but basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. But I want to thank you guys again for watching / listening. I want to thank Tyrone, Hollister, and Menelik for joining me tonight and getting this thing done. Shout out to Charity. Happy birthday to her because it's going to go up tomorrow. So happy birthday to her, November 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
That's what's good. My son, November, shout out November 23rd.
TJ.
Turns 9 on Monday.
Happy birthday to him. But yeah, at the end of the day, I want to thank you guys again for listening. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let us know if you guys are interested in us talking about different topics or something like that. Give us some feedback. Leave us a comment. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all again for watching. Enjoy. God bless.